When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
Are you
So Candace Owens, whom I love, Candace Owens, and I don't agree with her on everything, but I love her. Candace Owens sat down a couple of days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk for an interview with CNN, and it was that knucklehead CNN woman who's, I think she's 40 and she acts like she's 16. She talks like she's 16 with vocal fry and all those tics like, come on. Anyway, I'm going to show you in a second.
Oh, yes.
She's the same woman who interviewed Tim Dillon, and Tim Dillon humiliated her because she's such a mental case. So she sat down with Candace Owens, and Candace Owens had some fun with her. Let's watch.
You can criticize Netanyahu without being anti-Israel, and you can criticize Israel without.
You can this supposed reporter. She's supposed to be a reporter. You hear her how she's talking?
You can criticize Netanyahu without being anti-Israel, and you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. But some of the themes, talking points, concepts you've used in your criticism of Israel, I'm very familiar with from covering white nationalists for 10 years. It's
So this supposed reporter is a highly trained psyop. She specializes in putting her interviewee into a hypnotic sleep trance. That's what I think. It's so effective, I'm actually feel like I'm going under just watching this. She would put an NPR listener into a coma. Okay, here we go.
very unsettling for me to hear things like you saying our government is occupied by Zionists, Trump is occupied by Zionists, we're an occupied nation. Because like, there's literally a term that's like an 80s, 90s term from white nationalism, ZOG, Zionist occupied government. It's their idea that Jews control the world. And I'm wondering, like, are you intentionally referencing those kind of themes?
Are you? She does the vocal fry. She has it all. She has it. She has the up talk. She has the vocal fry. She has it all. Okay, here we go. And she looks 13, even though I think she's 40.
Wait, just to slow this down. Are you accusing me of white nationalist rhetoric? Because I do have to have a little bit of a giggle about that first.
Well, that's, I mean, to me, I'm also like, they'd be no fan of yours.
It's just, it's silly. But this is one of the things where I feel like it's such a lesson for CNN. This is why nobody watches it anymore. I mean, it's like you're sitting across from a black person. You're like, I've learned about white nationalism, and you're using white nationalist rhetoric.
Like, I
It's
know
silly.
them. I've been
It's
to their
silly.
rallies. I've read all their texts.
I get it. I know. I'm so glad you're educated. But this is when it's like, put it in a book and anybody will say it. It's like, it's just at a certain point you have to use your eyes and go, is Candace Owens promoting white nationalist rhetoric? Okay, immediately no. So what else could it be? Could it be that actually Zionism is what it actually represents?
What does that mean? Like,
It's, Zionism is a political philosophy. Okay?
Zionist occupied government.
If you look into the history, yes, I believe we are a Zionist occupied government, and we're not the only one. Okay, yes, and I take it to the bank. If you need to walk out of here and say Candace Owens is a white nationalist for you to be able to digest it, then that's fine. You know, you have to deal with that in your own time. But like, what I will say is,
maybe this
I
stuff is
stand
ambient,
by.
and that's where you
I stand by
picked it up.
every statement that I made, and I want to double down on it. Okay, America is occupied by Zionists.
Bam. That was just wonderful to watch. That was just wonderful to watch. She's talking to a black woman. You know, you're repeating a white nationalist. I've studied them. I know they have a thing called ZOG, Zionist occupied government. You know why? Because our government's occupied by Zionists. That's not anti-Semitic. That's anti-Zionist. Those are two totally different things. That is wow. That's all I can say is wow. Okay, there's more.
They is a word, so like I don't need to always like say they. Like it's just a weird. It's like this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
Are you
Right in her face. She doesn't see this coming because she lives in a stupid bubble. She lives in a bubble of moronic agreement. She didn't see it coming. And you could also see that the Muppet Show hippie girl routine is just an act to cover for her pointed agenda. And apparently a very belligerent and controlling Muppet is residing just underneath that veneer.
Things that I can help clarify.
Are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
Are you familiar with a long-standing trope? You're trafficking in tropes. Couldn't give a shit. Bam! Right in your effing face. So here's what she has to say about it. Here's what Candace has to say about it.
I really try not to curse, but I just felt like we needed to kill it real quick. You know what I mean? Just get her to move on from it because I really don't care. I'm so tired of these words. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted? We're tired. Collectively, we're tired. I had to shut it down because I suddenly realized I was homeschooling my toddlers. And I told her, as the interview goes on, I was like, look, I have toddlers at home. I can't teach you, basic sentence. I'm teaching my toddlers how to read. And here I am. I'm teaching her how to understand they in a sentence that's a place. What are we doing? How old is this person? And she says she's the same age as me. And I'm going, you missed first grade? You don't know what they means? And now you're just going to, it's a trope. This is the way to respond, okay? Just shut it down immediately. Embrace whatever you're going to be called. In this circumstance, if I got to be called a white supremacist to say my opinion about this administration and how it's been occupied by Zionists and the cruelties that the Palestinian children are suffering at the hands of Bibi Netanyahu, then so be it. I don't encourage you guys to cuss. It's a rare moment. Like I said, it was a couple days after Charlie Kirk died, and I just was not in the mood. But I do encourage you guys to defend yourselves in a similar manner. Now, in that same vein, in case you guys missed this going around, Eric and Laura Trump spoke at a recent TPO.
Okay, that's so. So that woman, when she does the that hesitant college kid doing an interview, that's what she sounds like. That would have been too unprofessional for a Chris Farley character on Saturday Night Live. But it's taking her look how far it's taken her. That stupid routine that woman does. She's like the lead idiot for CNN now. Here's some more commentary from Candace on this interview.
I'd like to triple down on that if there's anybody going. I'd like to triple down on that. These tactics are super boring and tired, and this is why it hinges upon suppressing speech, right? Constantly having to refer to somebody as evil or white supremacist or anti-Semitic because you've lost the argument on the base. Like there is no merit to your argument anymore. So it's all a constant struggle session of semantics. And then she moves on to they. Do you remember growing up when we were just allowed to use the word they in sentences? And nobody said, what do you mean by that? Several times. She just, what do you mean by they? As if she didn't understand how to construct a basic sentence and to refer back to the noun. She had no idea which plural noun I was referring to. Anyways, I was not really in the mood. And here is our conversation about they.
They is a word. So like, I don't need to always like say they. Like, it's just a weird, it's like, this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
Boy, the Zionists are really doubling down. They're really in a panic because people like Candace Owens aren't going along with their garbage anymore. Yeah, Zionists control the media. People who are Zionists and have Zionist political affiliations control the media. Perfect example is your stupid interview. Your stupid interview. Calling everything anti-Semitic. Your stupid interview is the perfect example of that. How about Jake Tapper? How about Dana Batt? They all do the bit. Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer, I think, used to work for AIPAC. They all do the bidding of Israel. All of them at CNN. All of them. Thank God for Candace Owens. Thank God for Candace Owens. And if you like to hear my jokes about the anti-Semitism that's being hurled everywhere, come see me in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. It's a Saturday. See you January 11th in Waikiki at the Blue Note. And we'll see you January 30th. It's a Friday at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Come see me on tour in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Waikiki, Hawaii, and the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.